All right. So we are now live. Welcome, everybody. September Herbalist Lounge, Herbs for Athletes. All right. Get everybody in. So your facilitators for this evening are myself, Martina. Tonight we have Asia. Asia's with us in spirit. Asia's with us in spirit. She might just tune in and pop in at any moment. And then we also have
Lanita. I'm here for real, for real, for real.
Lanita's here for real, y'all. So thank you all for coming in. We're so happy to have you this evening. So before we get started, we want to thank our ancestors, our plancestors, the ones that came before us doing this work. May we continue to do this work and keep building in this beautiful cipher and community we call the Herbalist Lounge. All right, y'all. So let's get into this. I'm excited about tonight's topic. So what herb?
Now,
First
first, we got to find out where we're coming from and what we're
word.
sipping on.
Yeah, what you sipping on? So what herb you digging this evening? And like Lanita just said, tell us where you calling from, like where you representing and what you sipping. Yeah, let us know. Don't be shy. I don't. It looks like we got some certified
Hey,
nerds on here. Hey,
There
peace.
we go.
hey everybody. It's Clarissa. I'm driving, I'm in the car, but I'm tuned in to the Herbalist Lounge from Atlanta, Georgia. Right now, not sipping on anything, but if I could, it would definitely be some hibiscus with some cinnamon in it and some honey and some lemon, just boiling and marinating all together with some ginger.
Mm.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. I'm gonna make that tonight.
sounds good.
Yeah. Hey Lanita. Hey Asia. Hey
Hello.
Martina.
All right, so Sharonda, peace, Sharonda. Sharonda is repping New Jersey and sipping on some cinnamon and cloves. Yummy. Okay. Love it. All right. And then we have, it looks like Kendra. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Kendra's sipping on ginger. Nixie calling from Silver Springs. All right. Okay. Representing Silver Springs, Maryland. All right. Well, welcome. Thanks for tuning in. Okay. Yay. I'm correct. Okay. Good. Good. What you sipping on, Lanita?
Well, as I am in the land of Nebadai, I am sipping on some Nebadai with a little bit of lime and some dates in there to sweeten it. So it makes it even that much better.
Can you tell the people, just in case they're not aware of what Nebadai is?
Oh, sorry. Nebadai is moringa. And so that getting all the benefits of the moringa and that little bit of citrus added into it just knocks the flavor up a notch. And adding those dates in there gives you some extra enduring sugars, keep your sugar levels balanced. So it's some good stuff for tonight. It's only midnight here, so it's not as late as in Germany, but hey.
Just midnight, y'all. All right. So Zora B, peace. So glad to have you. Zora B says currently in Atlanta, Georgia, sipping on some homemade chicken, mushroom, and rice soup. Oh my goodness, that sounds so
Oh.
good and nourishing. Yummy. It makes me think of like some good old pot liquor, making them
Mhm.
beans and sipping that good old broth. I know there's a lot of goodness in that. Oh, so
What
y'all.
you sipping on, Martina?
Yeah, I was just about to tell y'all because a lot of you all have mentioned what I'm actually sipping on. It's mixed up a little differently. So I have the orange pill. I think someone else mentioned orange this evening. And then also I have I got to remember what I put in here. I'm looking in my cup. I have some cinnamon and I got some ginger slices and rose hips. I was thinking about going with the hibiscus, but I said, let me go ahead and do this rose hip thing. So that's what I'm sipping on tonight. Trying to keep
Yeah.
stimulated while we gonna talk about these herbs for movement and athletics, y'all. So speaking of which, let us know, what is your favorite movement activity or athletic activity to partake in? I want to know. Talk to us.
And if we got any parents on the line, you got kids going back to school, your kids playing sports, coming home with injuries,
Right.
what you do for them?
Clarissa says riding the bike at the YMCA. It looks like we got some more bike lovers in here. Someone else really loves to ride bikes. And I admire you for that.
Yeah, but I like riding the bike at the YMCA because you generally can't get hurt there. But you can have sore muscles after you finish that, especially if you're doing a really good spin class. We had a great spin class at our YMCA in Texas. But yeah, you can come home with some sore muscles on there. What you doing for them sore muscles, Clarissa?
I usually do like Epsom salt soaks. I love to soak in Epsom salt, definitely. Um, and there's a herbal salve that Martina made that I use sometimes for aches and pains, and it's amazing. I love to rub that on my achy parts of my body after riding the bike at the Y.
Yeah, there you go.
Yay, I'm glad the salve is helping you with your achy parts after you're on your bike at the Y. I feel like that was a whole book right there, Clarissa, story time. I love it.
Achy parts. That sounds so funny.
Right? Our children are like coming out through us. My achy parts. I got some achy parts. Okay, cool. If anyone else, so if you're new to the Herbalist Lounge, or if you know you're a certified herb nerd, been rocking with us, you already know the deal. Feel free to unmute yourself. You can speak. If you have questions, comments, share your experience. We come here to share from one another. It's not a class or anything like that. We just come together to share our wisdom through either experience and just cipher with one another. And also feel free to utilize the chat as well. Okay. All right. So,
Hey, I wanted to tell Clarissa about my bike incidents. Uh, I was racing a bus with the bike and I face planted on the concrete. Gives you a lot of sore muscles. I'm telling you, a lot of sores. But that soaking in comfrey really helped to bring like my arm. I tried to put my hands down to catch myself, but evidently I was going so fast I just flew past them. So really twisted the muscles in the arm, and soaking in that comfrey really made brought those muscles back. So
And when you soak in the comfrey, how do you do it? Do you put it in a tea bag and throw it in the tub, or how do you do it?
since it was my arm, I have like, a little foot tub and I put water, put the water in there, put the comfrey it powder in there and just put my arm in there and soak it.
mm-hmm.
Kind of like I would do, if you were using Epsom salt or something like that. But the Epsom salts help more like with swelling and soreness in muscles. And the comfrey really restored the muscle because I thought my arm was broke, but it was just really twisted muscles. But the comfrey restores that.
Speaking of comfrey, I keep a comfrey oil on hand. So I literally have like a quart-sized mason jar with good old olive oil. If y'all know me, I love using olive oil, but I like using a lot of different oils. But um, I'll have olive oil and whenever I get comfrey, whether it be dried herb, dried comfrey, if I come across some fresh comfrey, I will add it to this oil and just keep adding and soaking it. And I just do like a solar infusion and just keep adding, and it becomes more and more potent. Um, when I have times, I'll sometimes make a salve from it, and then maybe add other things like essential oils or maybe other infused oils. Or most of the time, I'll just go ahead and put the oil straight to the skin and massage, or soak a cloth in the oil, and you can wrap it on the area that you want to work on. So something to have just on deck. Yeah.
It's kind of making like a compress without using the fresh leaves. You already got it in the oil form, huh?
And around here, with all these things going on in my household, we got to make sure. So speaking of which, since Lanita went ahead and shared her little incident on the bicycle, and yes, I saw people were saying, someone was like, "We're grateful you're doing well." Yes, we are so grateful Lanita is doing well. Believe me, because Asia and I saw the pictures, and let me tell you, Lanita did heal pretty fast. So I believe in them herbs. Okay, whatever you did worked very well. um, so with me, I like to run. Running is kind of like the things I used to run track and field, so I always default to running. But in where I'm at now, sometimes running can be a little challenging. I have very flat feet, and um, I need to do the soaks. I heard people talking about like the warm baths with the Epsom salt. I love it. I love it. I love it. So a couple years ago, I got into Taekwondo. One of my daughters does Taekwondo. I've had a lot of injuries in Taekwondo, probably more than anything else. Sprained ankles. Definitely love the comfrey for that. Um, definitely love my oils of cayenne, cayenne infused oils. What else? Rosemary infused oils. Ice. I usually ice right after working out. That tends to help out. And then I'll put salves on. So lots of pains. Arnica, yes, arnica is another good one. What I like to do is I make strong teas and make compresses from them. Arnica is one that I'll make a really, really strong tea, and sometimes I'll use ginger and arnica tea, strong, strong, strong tea, and then let it cool a little bit. Soak a cloth in the tea, and then wrap the area, which in my case would have been my ankle. Really helps out. So
Hey, peace, y'all. How y'all doing?
well, didn't we say Asia might just drop on in? See, Scotty beam you up. What's up?
What's up? What's up, everybody? So I'm joining y'all from my car.
What you sipping on?
Ooh, the sun in Las Vegas. But yeah, to add to the discussion, and I didn't hear what everybody had to say, but definitely like menthol crystals, which is all the mints, the spearmints and things like that, and some cinnamon essential oil, but heavily diluted with a carrier oil, because that's a bad mamma jamma. You don't want to play with it. It can irritate your skin. So I would say maybe to an 8-ounce bottle of a carrier oil, whether it's olive oil or almond oil or what have you, like maybe 5 drops of cinnamon essential oil. And then I'll utilize some menthol crystals, which, that'll have everything pulsating. So that's my thing.
Sounds good.
Jessica said she had some soreness in her hands from writing too much, and I can really relate to that. And she used comfrey on that, and it was very effective to use it the comfrey as a hand soak. So that comfrey seems to be coming in clutch for us with these sore muscles, and actually works on bones too. If have bruised a bone, the comfrey works on that too. So thanks, Jessica.
No problem. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I have a question. Have you guys I've heard arnica being like powdered, dried and powdered into like a almost like a what you call it? Not a, I don't want to say pill. I feel like it's another word for pill. But almost like you can powder it and it's like a low dose. Have you guys heard of using arnica outside of external use, but internal with using it in small doses for pain?
Like as a homeopathic medicine. Seen it in
Like
that form before.
like in a pill form. Because I'm trying to, sometimes I see the information online and I see where it talks about, arnica more so is safer use it on the skin versus internal. And to use like herbs like willow bark or meadow sweet for any type of like headache pains or you know when your head is full, things like that. But arnica more so just topically used. So sometimes I try to just take the resources down and then research as much as I can because I don't know. I hear certain specific things about no, don't use arnica internally, but use it externally only. So I don't know if you guys heard about that.
Well, through personal experience, I have not used arnica internally. I've only used it externally.
Okay.
Yeah. Not to say that you can't, but it's, the way you're going about it would pretty much be similar to how I would go about it, right? Do your research and,
Yeah.
dosage, your own body constitution and in the certain scenario. Does anyone else have any experience with arnica other than
I
external?
Oh, no,
I,
no. I was about to say the same thing. When I was in Germany, because that was one of their main herbs they used, they would externally and lotions and things. So somebody else was about to say something.
Mm-hmm.
No, Asia, kind of the same thing. In Italy, my daughter's brother-in-law made some arnica salve, and it's kind of external, but not external because they put it on the babies after they got their immunizations. My granddaughter, she just swole up and got really red, so she put
Mm-hmm.
it on that. But she also used the arnica on cracked lips.
Mm.
So that's not the same as taking it internally, but it can be ingested that way. But
Yeah.
because of the properties of arnica, I would really be skeptical of using it internally, taking a dose. Or if you did, I would do it like the homeopathic, using minims. A very small amount of it probably would be effective enough.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly how I've seen it in the small pellets, because one of my one of my daughter's pediatricians is a naturopathic pediatrician, and she's also a traditional Chinese medical doctor. She works with homeopathic medicines, and have seen the arnica pellets. Me personally, I've never used them, but I have seen them. And like Lanita said, probably in very small dosages for specific scenarios. So yeah, but that's some good discussion. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay. All right, y'all. What other types of movement do we enjoy, or athletic activities? What do we talk about? A little bit of taekwondo, some bike riding and running. What else we got going on here?
Oh, we go back to the running. We didn't talk about them bad feet.
What y'all help me out with my flat feet? What y'all recommend? Lanita, Asia, Herb Crew. What y'all recommend for these flat feet? I'm gonna tell you what I do. I need me a herbal massage with some herbal oil. um,
One good thing though, Martina, really, before you run, you
mhm.
take a bottle of water, a regular bottle of water, you put it in the freezer, and before you go running, you roll your foot over that ice,
Mm-hmm.
over that bottle of water. And for some reason, especially if you have flat feet or falling arches, it numbs it, I guess, before you go, and you don't get that strained hurt feeling after you run. And so, and for if any of you all that have jobs where you stand up all the time, if you're standing all the time, that's also very good to do before. I used to do that before I went into work, roll that bottle of, um, roll my foot over the bottle of ice water. And I had, my arches were falling, and that really helped tremendously.
Yeah, you're right about that because doing a little bit of an ice soak right after I run, if it's
Hmm.
and it doesn't really get bad. One thing I realize it's all a prevention, but sometimes you forget. You know, it can be in the shoes, having arch supports. That's everything. If I have the proper shoes and the good right arch supports, then that prevents a lot. But there are times where they still get sore. Now, ice, I didn't think about using it beforehand. We used to do that back in track and field. So yeah, that definitely helps out. Good old water, ice,
That's
back to
it.
the basics and staying hydrated, staying hydrated. And speaking of running, chafing, um,
Mhm.
Asia, Lanita knows chafing is something that I get. If I don't know if y'all know what chafing is, but it is not fun. Just imagine getting your outfit on, you feeling good, you got Eye of the Tiger playing on your head, dun, 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 and you're ready to tackle this 3 mile run. Everything's beautiful, and you're feeling great. All of a sudden, you get this burning sensation between your thighs. Sometimes it comes like on your breast or just on your back, your shoulders, the weirdest of places. And that's who's, if you've ever experienced runners like chafing or just chafing in general, it's not fun. So we've been talking about a lot of different remedies for that. First and foremost, I'm gonna throw this out there for prevention. Stay moisturized because if you go out there without properly moisturizing your skin, I realize for me, that's definitely gonna mess me up. So I like to use coconut oil because it doesn't make me sweat too much, but it's like that perfect balance. So coconut oil works very well in those areas. And Lanita's been giving me a lot of good chafing recipes and remedies. Do you mind sharing some of those, Lanita?
Yep, had to find my mute button. Yeah. you know, um, a lot of times they'll sell you a lot of powders in the store. Read your ingredients on those powders though, because some of those powders have things that will irritate the skin more than help with the chafing. If you are looking for some, powder to use before you chafe, before you start your activity, especially women during the hot months like this, around the bra line, under the breast, in the back. A lot of women have a lot of problems there. So you want to use these powders, but you want to make sure that the powder doesn't have anything that you can't pronounce in it. You know, a plain talc powder. Some have menthol in there. Some have salicylic acid, aspirin, and which is an anti-inflammatory. So those are good for chafing, because what the chafing is your skin is literally burning from rubbing itself, and you are putting that menthol on there. It's hot but cooling. It stops the inflammation. The aspirin in there stops it. Just plain talc. Um, Another one, what's my other one? Arrowroot. Arrowroot is a good powder that absorbs the moisture that can cause that friction. So and my new favorite, when I'm here in Senegal and I've been getting heat rash,
Mm-hmm.
and so if y'all are out there gardening and working in there, mine is not just heat rash, it's now turning to blisters and fungus. So I've been using monkey butt powder. I always thought it was monkey butt, but it's actually called anti monkey butt powder. And the ingredients in it is just talc and calamine, and it is the best for chafing, for heat rash and for blisters and the slight little fungus you may get with that. So those are some ideas about different powders and things that you can use for to stop the chafing.
Nice. And we'll get to fungus in a minute. It sounds exciting, right? Yes. Gotta touch on that fungus, y'all. Shalise, once again, I hope I pronunciated your name correctly, says, I have 3 boys playing football. Any recommendations for them? One of them catch bad cramps after the game, no matter how much he hydrates. Good question. And it looks like, oh yes, Jessica, you hit on one. The first thing that came to my mind was cramp bark. Cramp bark is great for body spasms, cramps, then just those herbs that are rich in electrolytes like Zora B says, magnesium citrate, nettles, nettle tea, peppermint tea, let's see, catnip, meadowsweet, willow bark. These are all great things that are great in tea form to help hydrate, to help add electrolytes, and also help with those cramping in the body spasms too. Let's see. Anybody else have anything they want to chime in and add to that for cramps? And of course, to
Minerals.
hydration. Yeah.
Minerals.
Minerals. Yep.
Yes, you definitely want, these are boys, so magnesium is really good, and that's why Epsom salt is really good afterwards. But just for sources, making sure that they're getting fruits or vegetables that are high in magnesium. Um, that's a good one to help with cramps, to help prevent the cramps from coming.
That's very true. It's making me think of like those pre-game nutrition and types of food you can eat beforehand. Jessica says, I think I'm
And
gonna try to
stay
make.
away. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead,
No,
Martina.
you're good. I want to hear what you have to say. I was just reading from the chat. Jessica was saying that going to make some handmade powder with calendula, lavender, and plantain. Just purchase a grinder. That sounds dope. So many different ways to apply. And then what were you going to add, Lanita?
Stay away from those juices, those sports drinks, like the Powerade, Gatorade, all of those. It's a lot of sugar in there, and you think you need those electrolytes, and those electrolytes are not. I mean, it's so much other junk in there that you don't need, that are not beneficial. Those drinks are not beneficial for you. If you really want to make some drink for your athlete, just to take with them in a thermos, you can make them some cucumber water. Um, After a workout, basil water is really good to replenish and to rejuvenate the body after a hard workout. So if you are doing, tough sports, or you really work out hard, you're sweating a lot, that cucumber water is very hydrating. And the basil water, like I said, is very replenishing.
Yeah, that basil water is the truth, y'all. And yes, coconut water. Okay. Let's see here. Clarissa also adds in there lemon and rosemary plus water. Yes. So you mean we shouldn't be using those official drinks of the athletic events, the Gatorade, the ones that we're sponsored by? We should
Exactly
bring in our own, right? Sponsored by Herb. Thank you.
That's it.
All right. Fungus. Are we ready to take it there? then we can talk about elbows to the eyes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So when I think of fungus, man, I think of all kinds of sports, y'all. Whew, definitely football with them uniforms. I don't know how many times the football players at the school I went to in high school would wash some uniforms, but it would smell like they not enough. Martial arts, y'all. woo, I was like, we need to be scrubbing these mats every day because people were coming in there with stanky feet. So what would I do to protect me and my children? Yes, it can be candid, right? I'm telling you, all me and my two girls would come in from, Taekwondo from the dojo. Literally, before we stepped in this house, take our shoes off. I would make like a little spray with 1 part water and maybe like witch hazel, a couple drops of tea tree. Tea tree is one of my favorites. I would spray between them toes, up under them toenails, keeping them toenails short, spraying all over, and then we would set in and get in the shower, right? Good old tea tree oil is one of my favorites. And I like to make a black salve that I keep on hand as well. The black salve, it consists of tea tree oil. Also, it has usnea. I do an infused oil soak usnea, black walnut hulls, and chaparral. And it's really strong. And the black walnut hulls turn the salve dark, almost black, and I make a nice salve out of that. And I caress my body with that before I go to the dojo. I love usnea too, Jessica. But yeah, so those are my go-tos for fungus externally. Does anybody else have anything they want to add? Because there's so many things we can do. Like we can support our immune systems to fight fungus too, right? Anybody else want to add to that?
Yeah. Also remember, fungus is not just on the feet.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're talking people that are, using locker rooms and uniforms. We got a lot of crotch rot going on in there. So, because you're sweating and uh, but the same thing that you use on your feet, you can use for jock itch or yeast infection. So those items are good too. But for your feet also, if you a quick old home remedy that is still very effective to this day is bleach. Just the regular laundry bleach. Put a cap full of bleach in water and soak your feet in the water, and it actually will help to kill the fungus on your feet. So,
That's so funny that
you
y'all
know, if
went
you
in
want,
that order because it's like tea tree, when I can't use bleach, is like my bleach.
Tree, the
Uh-huh.
herbal bleach.
Yeah, yes, it's the herbalist bleach. I was also thinking apple cider vinegar and white vinegar externally to help cast out some of that fungus too. So yeah, those are some of the two that I would use as well. And I'm thinking about some aromatic herbs as well when I'm thinking about, how they're some of them are antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial. So while it might not take away stuff head on, it can be used as a layer because, apple cider vinegar is kind of funky, and so is white vinegar. So.
Yeah, you can use rosemary, especially if you're using essential oils, you're adding that to your product. You can put that rosemary is good, mint. Most of the things in the mint families will help with the inflammation and the irritation that you get with the skin fungus.
Some strong ones that come to mind too are like neem and oregano, but of course you want to be mindful, but those are some potent ones. Internally, I think of garlic. Garlic tea is always good. Yeah, I do a little bit of garlic and cinnamon tea whenever I feel like a little itch in my throat or anything. So support yourself internally, giving yourself those minerals and vitamins as well. We have comments about eye infections. Eye bright for infection in the eye, OSHA and elecampane infection, and for respiratory tract. When I think of breathing, herbs for respiratory, herbs for breath work. What y'all got? Because no matter what you're doing, athletic events, whether you're running, swimming, football, yoga, dancing, breath is essential. And making sure you're taking care of your respiratory tract is key. I'll never forget back in the days, I had an elder tell me, she was from Jamaica, and she was like, yeah, you know, you got to take nutmeg for running. Nutmeg tea is really good for runners. It helps you breathe. And I used to always carry like a little bit of nutmeg with me when I ran and sniffed on it in my pocket. I swear by it. Like, let me tell you. But you know, it makes sense. So nourishing that respiratory tract, keeping those lungs working optimally. And I see people already chiming in. Mullein, yes, come on now. I love, love, love mullein. Mullein tea is wonderful for respiratory. What are some other favorite herbs to tone and keep our lungs going so we can take those nice deep breaths when we're getting that movement going? Good.
Marshmallow, yeah. Jessica, going down that same rabbit hole because I'm thinking about okra. Okra is actually really good um, for keeping those, because mucus in your lungs is not always bad. Sometimes it catches all of the pollen, the junk that you're breathing in. It catches that and keeps you from having those allergic reactions. So the things in the mallow family are actually really good for the respiratory, and rosemary. Rosemary is another one I love. I love rosemary.
You know what, Lenita? I love how you've been representing okra lately, because you used to talk about it like it was the snot plant.
It's still snot.
But you be bringing up okra often. I'm loving it. Next thing you know, Asia's gonna be repping the bitter herbs. Watch, just watch.
Hey, 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 hey.
Hey, my bad. Where's the lavender at? Let's cool it down.
Look, but I will say, I had a bunch of bitter herbs in tea last night, and I was successful in. I know we need to taste the bitter, but I was making it for someone who does not like bitter at all, like less than me. Okay, so like I was able to successfully balance that out with other herbs. So, like I put astragalus root in the tea, so that can help. I think somebody's mic is hot. Somebody's unmuted.
All right,
There we go. Yeah, all right. It happens, but like I threw astragalus root in there, some motherwort, and y'all know I'll put the whole sink in there if something's happening. But either way, there was some lemon in there, so there was some sour stuff. But I took that hibiscus and elderberries and just different things, and put a little bit of honey in there to help balance that out. But like I was saying, astragalus root, if we're talking about lungs and kind of keeping preventative measures, astragalus root does help with like the allergies, cold, flu, like that build up, that mucus, and it just helps with the immune system with battling those type of things. So that's a good one. And osha root, I think somebody said osha root, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, good stuff. Mm-hmm. I had to unmute myself because I started choking on the orange pills in my tea, y'all. So just bear with me. I'm so sorry. An herb to
Oh
help
no,
you from an herb. Oh my goodness. So I'm gonna put myself on mute just one moment, y'all.
that's cool. What other herbs do you use for Lanita? Any that come to mind?
Whew.
Look, we might have lost everybody at once. So, and I can't see the chat. Sorry, y'all.
I'm okay, y'all. I'm okay. I'm just choking on some. We talk about how herbs help you, but you got to be careful too. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that'll help with your lungs, your coughing. was good.
Maybe I needed to cough. You see what I'm saying? These herbs really are intuitive. They really know what you need.
But yeah,
Oh,
oh, go ahead. Was somebody about to say something? Go ahead. Okay. Well, I mean, back to the mullein, because I know we were talking about that a little bit earlier. And I mean, we were looking at like cut mullein last night and just looking at the doctrine of signatures. The person that I was making the tea for, they didn't know, the benefits of mullein, but just looking at it, and they were like, oh, it's so fluffy. So that must really help out with the lungs because it just looks like a nice pillow. And, you know, um, and she was like, it just reminds me of the lungs. Like it feels like something that's going to help me to breathe because it was just so fluffy and airy. Like you can see, just the air in between all the cuts of herbs. So just another doctor of signatures in a different way.
Nice. Yeah, I miss talking about doctor and his signatures. Count on you, Asia, to bring that up. That makes sense. Come on now. All right. So let's see here. We got a lot of good stuff going for the lungs.
Hang on, Martina.
Going.
I've been talking for the last 5 minutes and was on mute. Sorry, but Asia, you were talking about mullein, and just for any of you all that are outdoor people that like to do camping, hiking, or whatever, remember mullein is nature's toilet paper. And so if you're outside and you gotta go, mullein is safe to use as a toilet paper. And it feels really good on your skin. So, and it's safe, as opposed to, I had a friend, we were camping and she used poison ivy. Not a good idea. But mullein works if you're out in a rush. That's a great toilet paper.
Okay. Nature's natural toilet paper. There you go. Woo. All right. Looks like we got a question in the chat. Clarissa says, what are herbs that are safe to use in pregnancy for pain for all the active expectant mommies? All right. Does anybody want to chime in on that? Any experience or feedback regarding
The
pain?
best things for them to use are external,
Mm.
because you don't want, anything. You want to be really careful with pregnant moms taking anything internally. So the best things are soaks, that Epsom salt baths, or lost you. Any other type of soaks and rubs up. External massages with lavender. If they make a massage oil of almond oil and lavender oil, and it really feels good, especially as mommies, as you got me saying mommies, as the mother starts tightening up, as that skin starts stretching, everything starts to tighten up. Just massaging those areas with that lavender oil will help to loosen up, some of all of that stretching that's going on.
Those are good. A lot of great external remedies just to play it on the safe side.
Yeah, I have to agree with Lanita, definitely there, because then, concentrating externally, I think that is the best bet, because if it maybe like affect muscle movement, the uterus is just a big old muscle. So anything that can control muscle movement could potentially be abortifacient as well. So that could potentially put somebody in labor. So, yep. I love soaps to recommend those for pregnant mommies.
So Clarissa, those Epsom salt baths and lavender mix sounds right on point. All right, y'all. Ooh. So I don't know if you can see the screen, but we have a beautiful display of a whole bunch of plant allies here. A lot of them we have already mentioned. Mm-hmm.
We hit them, Martin.
We sure did.
Except the passion flower. How we gonna use the passion flower? Is that for relaxation after you done all this hard workout?
Yes, rejuvenation. Come on now. That I wouldn't recommend it during a game. I mean, it depends on what type of event you're doing, you know. But yeah, for sure. Passion flower, get that good recharge, especially if you're, with some of our, I know my daughter, she has a lot of activity throughout the week, and having that good rest is really important. For rest, catnip, I think someone mentioned catnip. I love catnip for children. Lemon balm is really nice as well. Chamomile, really nice herbs for relaxation. So you can come back and get them the next day,
Mm-hmm.
That just reminded me of skullcap too, because when I first learned about skullcap, it was from an old school herbalist, and he would go to like all these events or these like street protests, and sometimes at those events, people, the emotions and tensions are high, and injuries happen, right? And so they would take that person to the first aid station, like say somebody had a broken arm, right? And athletes face that broken stuff or pulled muscles. And so initially, that adrenaline is running high, but when it starts to come down, you can start to feel that pain. So he would give them a tincture of skullcap to kind of help them to take their mind off of that pain, and they can calm down because it's a nervine, right? They can calm down while he, starts to work on them, or while he needs to pop something back into place. So I think that's another good one.
Oh yeah. Skullcap's amazing. That's a great application, Asia. Thank you for sharing that. Mm-hmm.
Martina, I see is that the cayenne pepper in there?
Mm-hmm.
The pepper is actually good for a lot of things. You might think that, it's harsh, but it is great to make some muscle rubs for, because it brings blood up to the surface on the skin, and that's also a great post activity. You could make a massage oil with the pepper in it, the cayenne pepper in it, and that brings blood to the surface to help nourish those muscles and joints that you've already stressed out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good old cayenne oil. There's nothing like a strong cayenne infused oil, and you can really it's like the natural icy hot. Or what is it called? Tiger's balm, right?
Tiger balm, yeah.
Yep. There's those herbal rubifacients bringing that blood to the surface. Rosemary is a good one too. Rosemary and cayenne oil. Make sure you got some good quality oils. I mean, cayenne as well if it's powdered. Make sure it's fresh, because there's nothing worse than having some cayenne infused oil and it wasn't good quality, or it wasn't potent, and you're rubbing it on and you're like, I don't feel nothing, and you really need that healing. So make sure you're working with some good herbs first and foremost.
And for anyone who has done Tiger Balm, I have to admit, any of the mistakes I've made them. Rubbing Tiger Balm on sore muscles and then go out in the sun, you feel like you are on fire. And that's because you are. And then you run back home and say, oh, I'm going to take a shower and get it off. And it gets worse because it makes it worse. So if you've used any of that Tiger Balm or some of those other really hot balms, and Tiger Balm is actually cayenne pepper, it's capsaicin. But when you go back, you put oil on it and that calms it down. So if you have the experience, or you have kids that, athletes love to share stuff and they come home and they on fire, Just put some cooking oil on it and it'll cool that burning down.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Good stuff, Lanita. And Jessica also mentioned St. John's wort on the skin too. Yeah, that's a really good one. St. John's wort salve is amazing. Right up there with that good old comfrey. And what about yarrow? We didn't mention yarrow tonight. Yarrow is definitely resonating with all the stuff that we're talking about.
Yep.
Yarrow's great to help with cuts, abrasions. You can do a poultice, you can do a soak, a compress of yarrow. It's always good to have some yarrow on hand. It's a herbal styptic externally. It can help. Can help with the bleeding, things of that nature. So many good things to have yarrow on hand. And then speaking of when you make an infusion of yarrow, digestion's huge when it comes to athletic events, especially if you're going to be performing for a long time. Athletes tend to get things like gas and digestion. So utilizing those moving herbs once again, like the peppers, the cayenne tea, lemon balm, cinnamon, anything that's warming and stimulating can get that gas relieved before performance, which can make or break how you perform, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's important. Thank you, Clarissa. All right. So do we have any other comments or anything we want to add to the bill tonight?
Oh, Martina, you remember when you were coaching track, you said your girls had a lot of problems with acne and all that kind of stuff because you're sweating and you got the blocked pores and all that. What do we do for skin?
Oh, that's a good one. That's huge. I know a lot of people are like, I don't want to go. A lot of the girls, I don't want to go run. I'll mess up my skin. I can't be out here missing the sun. We're out here in these elements, okay? Oh, aloe vera. Aloe vera gel, Anita. My big one, I has been doing that. It works so well. Oh my goodness, aloe gel just in general. I know y'all got that aloe leaf in the refrigerator to keep cool. Just always on that piece of aloe is always in the refrigerator. But yeah, aloe is great for the skin, acne, to kind of help with that inflammation. Jessica says calendula. Yes, calendula too. And don't forget to work on the skin. We got to work on that liver, second largest elimination organ in the body, right? So we got to get them bitters. Got to work on the insides too. Dandelion, yes. And you can roast it. You can roast your dandelion root if kind of eases the bitterness a little bit. It tastes good. I love burdock root too. Burdock Asia. I love burdock root for just for liver cleansing, even in the stews. You can make it so many different ways. But that one's really good for skin and inflammation and things of that nature too.
And that aloe is also good if you are doing sports outside and you're running or like running cross country in those places where you got all kinds of grasses and things that'll be scratching your legs as you go. When you finish, you could rub some aloe in those little abrasions that you get on your legs, and it'll actually stop the sting out of it, take the sting out of it.
And real quick, while it's on my mind, just people, in a lot of sports, you can get things in your eyes. I know someone earlier mentioned eye bright, also green tea bags, calendula tea bags, just tea bags in general, chamomile. You can also put those on your eye. Rose water, compresses, obviously. And Lanita has a really good remedy for eyes to nourish the eyes. Lanita, ghee for the eyes.
Yeah, ghee. Ghee is like the bomb. But after, especially eye injuries where you get like elbowed in the eye or somebody's directly stick a finger in the eye. You put the ghee on the eyelids at night, all around the eye, on the lashes, everywhere it gets in, and it actually nourishes the eye. So it helps tremendously with that. So, yep, ghee.
All right.
Second to breast milk.
Hey, not number one, but number two. Okay. Oh my goodness. I was about to bring goat milk in the picture, but we're gonna leave that for another herbalist lounge, y'all. So Dora B asked, has anyone ever tried dandelion coffee? Anybody? I've tried dandelion several ways. Is it dandelion inside the coffee, or is it like a substitute for coffee? Is it made a specific way? I would love to hear about it.
So hey y'all.
Peace.
So I've been seeing on Instagram and like among a couple of my friends, one who has hyperthyroidism, I have hypothyroidism. They roast dandelion root and then brew it the same way you would a coffee, and apparently it's got like a similar taste to coffee but without the like effects of the caffeine. So I was wondering if anybody else had tried it or had any experiences with it. Same with like mushroom coffee or like coffee alternatives.
Yeah, I have. For the I've tried where they just have roasted dandelion, and that's just, that's a different taste than just the unroasted. And then I've tried, they have another thing on the market, is Dandy Blend, but I think they use what is that? Beets for the sweetener, so they're not using like straight out sugar. And that I've used that too, and it tastes fine to me. I haven't noticed any other, effect. Um, but I mean, it tastes good. I think if you're like trying to transition from coffee, then I think it's a good transition.
Most definitely. And then I threw in there green tea, white tea, matcha. The good old tea plant has a lot of antioxidants and it does have caffeine. The black tea will have a little bit more, but those are also good for transitioning to a little less caffeine than coffee. And for me, I know some people do like like even green tea or green teas before working out or performance. I can't do that. I'm already naturally on 10 and I'm like, that will make me feel a little bit more agitated. But definitely I love green teas. I love green tea, white tea, black teas, you name it. Yeah. Not before I run a workout though. I'll probably end up with more injuries. All right. But yeah, good stuff, y'all. Okay. Anything else we want to add? We're about to start our transition, our closing here.
I think we covered every sport. We got the cheerleaders, the football, the bands. If you get chafing with the strap on your neck, we talked about chafing. So yeah, we covered everything.
Okay, I love it. This was a really dope build. And speaking of dope builds, does anyone have anything that they want to share as far as upcoming events, maybe in their community or something that they have going on? Feel free, let us know. We'd love to hear about it. And also, this will be a good time if you want to share any of your social media handles. Feel free to drop that in the chat. And if you haven't already, make sure you follow Herbalist Lounge on Instagram and Facebook at Herbalist Lounge.
I do have one to share. I'm trying to pull it up right now. It's for the folks in the Atlanta area. Oh, it doesn't have that's interesting. Well, if anybody knows Shay the Herb Lady, she's in the Atlanta, Georgia area. She has an event on the 19th of October at 1 p.m. and it's called Raggedy Nerves Restored. So It's, they'll have yoga and different methods of healing, things like that. But she's definitely one of the folks that got me interested in herbs many moons ago. So she's really good and thorough as well.
Nice. Okay. All right. And we got some others coming in the chat. Lovely. Right. And then also, if you haven't already done so, Herbalist Lounge on YouTube. Check us out, y'all. All the Herbalist Lounge recordings. If you missed anything in the past, don't feel any type of way. You can go on our YouTube page at Herbalist Lounge on YouTube. Go ahead and make sure you subscribe and check out our previous Herbalist Lounge recordings. And then we also have some other good stuff as well from Lanita, from Asia, and also from myself. And we talked a lot about a lot of good topics, including summer herbs. We hit on a lot of great hydration herbals and things of that nature recently. So check that out. Yes, thank you. Right. Kitchen medicine making workshop. Okay, so this is a goodie. This is something that you can purchase. It was a workshop that the three of us, the three Spice Sisters, Lanita, Asia, myself did, and you can purchase it. You can purchase a 2-day. It was a live virtual workshop, and what you'll be purchasing is a 2-day recording, including a workbook with a lot of goodies, a lot of amazing recipes, and yeah, the recording also has all the good builds that we had involving medicine straight from the kitchen. A lot of unique recipes. When I say we hit on some different topics between the three of us, y'all, definitely check it out. And you can get that at herbalist-lounge.thinkifit.com. Okay. Also, you can subscribe to the Herbalist Lounge. All right. And let's see here. Are we able to put that inside the chat? We'll try to get that going for you all. But if you haven't already done so, if you do subscribe to the Herbalist Lounge, whenever we do have an event coming up or a workshop, or whenever the Herbalist Lounge is coming up every second Monday of the month, you will be notified. You'll get a little notification right in your inbox. Okay. All right. All right. Anything else? We can go ahead and say our goodbyes until the next second Monday of the month, y'all. Well, thank you so much for joining us and tuning in. Lanita, Asia just dropped the subscription link to subscribe to our newsletter. So go ahead and click on that. And thank y'all for tonight. Thank you so much. Asia, Lanita, you have anything else you want to add? I'll go ahead and pass the mic on.
Oh, y'all be safe out there. We've given you a lot of ideas of what can go wrong when you're out there doing your activities. And hopefully you got something that you can use. And thank you for sharing your remedies with us.
Yes, it was a great build. So we meet every second Monday of the month. So if you were new here and you were interested, come on back next month. And if you have a friend, bring a friend too. And we'll see you next time. Thank y'all for tuning in.
Peace.
Thank y'all.
Peace.